Hi everyone, welcome back to Java 1 for All. In this video, we are going to talk a little bit about the reference variables and try to understand a little bit more of what the reference variable can do. So, at this point, you are pretty familiar with classes. You know that classes, they usually represent something from the real world. We are going to see that is not always the case. And you know that an object is an instance of a class, that basically it is like the result of a blueprint. So class is kind of a blueprint, and then you have the result that is a object that's an instance of that class. So at this point, we have been always creating the reference variable and then giving a new object directly when we are creating that reference variable. But there is something we can do that will show you how the reference variable actually works. So basically, the reference variable is having a reference to a space in memory to an object. And what happens if I want to have this car1 having the same reference as car2? So for example, I would like my car1 to do something like this. How can I achieve this? You have to ask yourself, who knows where the object here, this new car, this is the object that there is no name, only the reference variable. Who knows where this new car is located? Car2. So basically, I have to tell car1 to have a reference to the same space in memory that car2 is having a reference. And how can I achieve that? So I will come here and in line 18, I will do the following. Car1 equals car2. Basically, this line, I'm saying my reference variable car1 is having the same reference, is going to have the same reference as the car2 is having. So this line is doing exactly what we see here. So car1 is having a reference to car2 object. And now when we do this object is lost in memory. So once you lose a reference to an object and you have no reference variables to it, it is lost. There is no way for you to get back that object. At this point, we have something called garbage collector. That's the application from Java that will clean your memory. So basically to search for objects that has no reference variable pointing to them, and will just wipe and give the space back to you. So car1 is having a reference to the same object that car2 is having a reference. So we have this result. And now if I press car1.name, car1.model, car1.year, what I'm going to have? Well, if you answered the same as we can see here, Mustang GT 500 1968, you are right. So if we execute this code, Ctrl+Shift+F10, you will notice that we have exactly the same result. So car1 and car2, they have the same result. Why? Because at this point, we are saying that they are pointing to the same object. And if we change, for example, I want car1 to have a reference to this object, but I want car2 to have a reference to this object. So here would be car2 will have the same reference as car1. If you do like this, nothing's going to change, obviously, but car2 is having a reference now to car1. So car2 is having a reference to car1, and just looking at the picture, you know that the result will be Ferrari Enzo 2007. Ctrl+Shift+F10, and you have the same result for both of them. So this works because they have exactly the same reference type and they are the same object type. But if you have, for example, a professor and you try to do the same, for example, car1 will point to professor's object like this, you will get a compilation error. Why? Well, because they are obviously not the same thing, and Java knows that, and there is only one way for this to work, is when we are talking about inheritance, something that's, well, way ahead of us for now. So let's remove this. This will not work because they are not in the same line of inheritance 3. And when I remove, you can see here that we do have this import not being used. You can press Ctrl-Alt-O and it will clean all the unused imports. Cool, this is everything that I wanted to tell you. We are going to talk about this, especially when we talk about polymorphism, and it's just like a little taste of what's coming in the future. So I hope you liked. See you in the next video.